We're going to be pros by the end of this. It's going to be okay. Yeah. So I'll give a little bit of time for people to jump back in, but we're officially live again. Sorry, everybody, for technical difficulties, but should be rolling.
Cool.
Okay, fingers crossed. So I can hear you, and let us know in the comments too if everything is good from your end of it. But hey, we'll make this work. We'll make this work regardless.
Well, for the show tonight, we're gonna make it work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I feel like it is, but I don't want to jinx it either. So I'm like holding my breath from it. But if you're on here, I know I see people coming in now. So let us know in the comments if we're good. Let everybody know that was on here. If you can pass along this new YouTube stream link, that would be great. Sorry for I was like, I just need to make this work. We're gonna figure it out and try a different way. So fingers crossed. Okay, I don't know. Do we want to start? I don't want to start completely over because they can watch part of it too. But from my end of it, the question I had was with your motorcycle apparel line and with the experience that you had creating these bridal gowns and high-end fashion, like how was that transition into motorcycle apparel? Like, was it seamless? Were there things and hiccups? How did that roll for you?
Yeah, motorcycle gear is totally different. I mean, in the sense of like construction wise, and materials, right? Because with fashion, you have like endless, fabrics at your disposal. Whatever you dream of, you can just do. Motorcycle
True.
gear, you become more like, you have limited supply, which you can work with, and what actually is safe. How you construct it is important. Like I like using like illusion mesh, stuff like that. I like how that looks. You can't do that in motorcycle gear, right? You absolutely not.
If there was a will and a way, I'm sure you'd figure it out and would make it work too.
How can this possibly be? But yeah, with that said, so we are limited to what we can use as far as materials, and construction is totally different. But it is a lot of work. It's workmanship that goes into it as well. But bridal is so pretty, and like evening wear, I love doing those kind of things. Very, nice and formal, and it's great to create those things. But I really enjoy creating motorcycle gear as well. I mean, it definitely has made me become more creative in the sense of this is all I can do, all I can work with. So I have to figure out how can I push the limit with the things that we have.
Absolutely. You kind of get the best of both worlds from your end of it too. Like you get to choose one and the other from that end of it. So how did things start off designing? Like, did you start with a single piece and vision? Like where was that basis for you? And because I know you mentioned in the previous live stream that we were in too, that your husband was the one that kind of pushed you to like strong nudges, like, hey, you should do this. Like what'd you start off with? What was your first kind of apparel?
For the motorcycle brand, right? For Chic Riot? Okay, yeah. So when he was kind of pushing me towards doing that, and I also too, because once he started saying it, I was looking at the gear that I was wearing, and I was like, it's not cute.
Mm-hmm.
You want to look good because people can see me. I'm like visible.
Yeah.
Hopefully to some people, right? We're visible, but people actually see us riding, and I thought, like, yeah, I really would like to look like have a nice jacket on. As I'm riding on a motorcycle, so that kind of helped too, as well as seeing different riders, female riders, saying like, "Oh, we don't have a lot of options. We're kind of limited to what we can buy." And he was really like, "Look, we need to do this," And so for me, I was like, "Okay, let's just go for it." And I was like, "Well, what haven't I not seen?" I'm like, "I don't see any sequins." I'm like, we need to put. I love sequin. I think it's so bright and beautiful, and it's fun. It makes me happy. So I was like, that was actually the very first jacket that we um, was constructed, was talked about, was put on paper, was sent to a manufacturer. So that was actually the very first jacket, was the Lana jacket that's on our website.
So how long of a process was that from like start to on the shop ready to purchase?
Couple of months.
Okay.
Yeah. So we first initially came with the idea. We
Mhm.
went through a manufacturer and we got the sample back and forth with them, you know, going through the grading of scale, the pattern, talking about the construction, what it had to have, the pockets for the armor to go inside, and the weight of the materials that we were using, all that good stuff. So that was probably a couple of months until it actually came to pass. So yeah.
You're so well versed in it now too. Like that's where there's probably so many things that we don't even think about that
Right.
like when you put it on, you're like, yeah, this is just a normal riding jacket, but there are so many odds and ends from your end of it to make it work and protective. And then also like just from the looks and standpoints of it, make sure that it meshes well from both safety and looks perspective too. So
Yeah. It's
I
so true.
have,
I didn't even think about things until I started to like really in research. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Like, you know, the using textile, like the denier and with different weights and polyester and nylon and you know, all this like that and Kevlar and Kadura and you know,
uh,
things you don't think about at all until you actually are in it, you know.
exactly. It's it's crazy, and I give you so much props from that standpoint because I know very little about it, but I know that there's so much more into it that goes into my appreciation for what you're trying to do and what you're sharing and what you're producing is amazing. And so I put a link in the description of this video and then also the last one too. So if anybody has not had a chance to check it out, definitely recommend it. I love it. I need to. So I'm like, I'm eyeing up that brown and the black jacket, but then I also am going the complete opposite direction. And I mentioned before, I was like, I need a formal gown for a military function too. So we'll be talking from that end of it. So for you, what besides designing and getting into fashion side of it, what else keeps you busy besides the I know 4 kids probably do take up a good portion of that time, but what else do you like to do from
Um,
end of it?
well, my life being consumed now really about Chic Riot is really becoming a lot bigger than we thought.
Yes.
Which we were so happy about. So now we're thinking about the next phase, how we're going to get into this. But yes, so as a designer, I think that's definitely a big portion of my life, and having 4 kids and now a new baby to add to the plate.
Mhm.
um, for sure. And, you know, being a wife, you know, have time with my husband, you know, just enjoying our time together as well as my own time so I can go riding, you know, that's pretty much my plate right now. It's like Chic Riot and Tabitha Fielteau brand and children, husband, and go and ride. And I haven't, like I said, ridden in 7 months. So now I'm going to make time. Like that is
Mhm.
definitely a part. It has to be a part
Yeah.
of the plate. I definitely has to make time to go riding because just today by riding for like, whew, like just those 10 minutes, it felt so great just to get out there. Oh my goodness, it was wonderful.
It was exactly what you needed. I love hearing that. I think it took me a good couple, I'd say months before I got back on the bike after I had my daughter. So
Uh,
for you to just kind of like jump right into it and go for it, like that says a lot. And I'm sure like sharing that side from women who may have some kind of like hesitations when it comes to jumping back into riding. I know that from my end of it, I was a little more, I don't know how to say it. I was a little bit more hesitant,
mhm,
but I saw the benefits way more than what I
mhm.
had normally done too. So from your end of it, it's yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And I was like, and I have to ride because these jackets that we're trying to sell and this gear. As my I have to wear this gear. you
You
know,
gotta test it out. Like, are you always testing new products and different things from that event too? So it gives you a good reason to go on
oh,
right too.
make sure it fits and make sure it functions well and that's one great thing about our brand. We want to keep that is made to order, because when I do wear it and I go for like, you know, months and wearing something, I can say, okay, this needs to be changed because now I know like I need to breathe more here and I really can like, you know, hone in on that and really like make it better the next go around. Um, but yeah, I do love doing that. I do like getting out there, wearing different jackets, seeing which one is lighter, This one has more airflow. This one has less airflow, or and those kind of things. But yeah, that's another excuse to go out and ride. And you're going to get like milk. Oh, we need milk. That's it. We need milk from the store.
I gotta go do this, and then I also have to research for it's work related and.
I need to go. I have to go wear it, right? Yeah. Exactly.
That's awesome. So for those that may not know, what's your current ride?
So I ride a 2020 Yamaha MT-07. So hyper naked bike. Before this, I had the Ninja 300, and that got totaled, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah. So last year I was in an accident. A car pulled out right in front of me, didn't see me. I don't know how you miss somebody wearing a whole sequin jacket, but I did, and they did miss me. And but I'm so thankful that I'm here. Thank the Lord that I'm alive, and that I was just just a little bruised, but nothing major, nothing serious, and it could have been a lot worse. But yes, I had to replace that bike. I wanted to keep the bike in the family. That was like, her name was Buttercup. I really wanted to keep her. Yeah, she was green, the Kawasaki green.
Nice.
I want to keep her in the family for other women who may want to ride it. I wanted to keep it in the family so they could learn on that bike. Like, hey, I have a bike here you can learn on. And I'm so mad that, it was gone. I'm just like, man, that was supposed to stay in the family for other people. I was trying to get more where I recruit them to bring them in.
Perfect way to have multiple bikes in your garage. And that I love that you have that mindset when it comes to the bike. So
yeah, it was. I mean, I think we got to share with so many other people. We have to increase this number from 20%. Like we
absolutely. Yes, and to make it happen. And this is the part of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing and showcasing you guys just for that sake, because there's a lot more stories and things that can be shared from our end of it just to grow that number. And you hit that nail on the head. So what made you decide the bike for your current ride? What was it?
So when I went to the dealership, I was looking for maybe the Honda CBR. I do like sports bikes. And the price was a little much. I was like, price can be a determining factor. The price a little much for that bike at that particular dealership. Then I saw the MT, and my husband like, what about that? I was like, I wasn't really feeling the hyper naked. I was like, then I thought about, so I could change the handlebars. I could do this. I think I might could do it. Let me just test it out, and see if I like the ride rather, the ride. But yeah, so now I definitely I like the bike a lot. I do still want to get another sport bike, and I do want to get like a standard bike at some point. But I gotta take my time.
I guess. Well, if it was my choice, I'd be like, I'm gonna have all of them within the next week. Like if that was possible to do, minus finances, they would already be in my range.
I definitely would have them all in yes, for sure. But yeah, so I like the bike a lot. I got it in May 20. I rode it to like September. So and then I was pregnant, so I haven't I had a whole year with it yet, just to really, put all those miles on there. So for me, I have to make up this year. This year I have to make up for that lost time that I missed.
That's the same mentality I had when I first started after, I had my first full year of riding last year, and I was like, yes, I'm going to take this and run with it because I know I've wanted to. And so from your end of it, what do you envision for this year? Because you've got that pull to do, what is in your line of sight for riding? What do you want to tackle?
And before I answer that question, so how long have you been riding?
So we got our license about 8 years ago, my husband and I together, but we shared the bike and had maybe a full year, and then we found out we were pregnant. So I maybe rode it 5 times. That's it. So technically I started in September of 19, then same position as you, found out I was pregnant. So I had to wait until she was born in June, July, August. I think it was August, maybe September timeframe. And then I don't, Georgia might get a little bit more longer riding season, but I
Yeah.
had like two months and that was it. And then I had to put the bike away for the winter. And so 2020 was pretty much my first full year of riding for my end of it.
Nice. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's what I want to do. Like 2019 was my full year. 2019, like I
Mhm.
was 18, 2019 was like the whole year I rode, because actually I rode through the winter because it didn't get that cold here in
Good.
2019. Yeah, so I rode all year long, and then you know, more than half of the year, so like 3/4 of the year last year. So this year, I'm definitely making up for lost time. I feel like my bike needs me
Mhm.
to. Like, you need to ride me. You need to know how I feel. You need to know,
Every
um,
time you walk by, you're like, dang it. Yes, I know, I know.
exactly. I'll look at him like, okay, I'm coming back. Oh, yeah, yeah.
I get you.
Uh, yeah, yeah. Every time my husband pulls up in his bike, I'm like, I'm so jealous of you.
No.
um,
So did you stop? I mean, like this is a question I didn't have on the list, but from your debate, you can answer it or not. I know this is kind of a topic that has been discussed before on multiple platforms, but did you ride after you found out you're pregnant, or did you stop completely? Like, what was your ground to say, okay, I'm gonna stop
yeah,
riding at this point in time?
yeah, I was like 3 months when I
Okay.
stopped. Um, actually, the picture that's on Doodle's, calendar she had for all of us in there, you're up right
Yes.
now.
Yep. That's right.
You're April. But the picture that
Okay.
I was pregnant there. So it was like one of my last times of riding, actually, and that, well, not that exact day because I had my hair all big. That would not work out to help. Um, but that was like one of the last times I actually had got on the bike. So it was in September last year.
Okay.
And yeah, I felt like when my stomach started to hit the tank, I was like, yeah, that's it. Yeah, no more. I can't, yeah, risk that.
Or
Um,
like I couldn't zip up my zipper anymore, and I was like, this is not gonna work.
yeah, it had the little belly band on, and I was
Yep.
like, yeah, it's time just to wait. And I mean, it felt so sad, like bittersweet,
Mm-hmm.
Great is coming, but right now I have to give up the bike.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so I got like 3 months and I stopped, and because I was like, I don't want to like be on the tank. I can't be on the tank. Yeah. So, and probably if
Mhm.
I had more of a standard bike, I probably wouldn't be on the tank. I probably could have went a little longer. But I
True.
think
It's true.
kid was like, nah, you're gonna stop now too. He was like, yeah, sorry, gotta put it up. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. You made it work. I think he's on. He's watching. Unless it's you.
what he said.
He says looking good. If you guys in the comments and on the live stream right now too have any questions for Tabitha too, feel free to shout them out in here. I know I don't want to go too far into that minute mark for your daughter, but from your end of it, I know you've got 4 kids, you've got a whole full household, and both of you ride. Are any of your kids have any interest in riding? I don't know level wise where they're at for
Yeah.
riding, but share a little bit more on that.
Yeah. So our 10-year-old, she says she wants to ride when she gets older, for sure.
Right.
The oldest one, no, I'll give them the back. She does ride with kids. She rides on the back of a
Okay.
kid. Our oldest daughter. Our son, he wanted an R6, but I told him they're gonna get rid of the R6. I think they maybe have done it already. I don't know. I was like, you may not be there when you get older.
We'll
um,
figure it out.
we told ourselves like our youngest baby girl, we're gonna start her very early, and so she's gonna be grow up in the lifestyle like very early on now. Since we have her so young, we can like mold her. So we said,
Mhm.
oh, she's gonna get her a little pit bike or something, so we can get her riding some training wheels or something like that.
I
Yeah, so
guess.
we'll see how it works out.
Absolutely. I love that. So for my end of it, I'm always bombarded with, so I did 2 dirt biking classes for my son this last summer, and he still talks about it to this day. So like, eventually we will get to that point, just not quite there, but I know it's going to happen. And especially with both of you riding too, I'm sure they're going to see that influence on how you enjoy riding and he enjoys riding. That's awesome that you kind of take them along for the ride when they're that age. My son is still
Yeah. And like
still
they're so involved in the brand too, in the motorcycles. And then my daughter,
yes.
Mom, he's not wearing gear. I'm like, I'm like, yes, he's not wearing gear. He's not being safe. So they're all about it now. Like, I understand it. Like, we was in Florida and it's like, have on a
Awesome.
helmet. I don't know. I don't have a law down here for the helmet. So they are like,
That's right. That's awesome that they pick up on those things already and immediately they know that. So that's fantastic. That just made my night for sure. Oh man. That's been, oh, I think I'm cutting it. Good? Okay.
yep. Yeah, we cut out a little bit, but
We'll keep rolling from it. From the last time, this is just 100% better than what our
yeah,
first live
it
stream. It's working in our favor. So from your end of it, so share a little bit more on, motorcycling and motherhood. Like how do you make, and plus motorcycle, like having an entrepreneur side of it, how do you juggle that up? What does that look like for you? Share a little bit more on that side of it.
yeah. Um, I say it looks like a very busy day. But life is crazy. In movies, right? You know how they are like doing everything all in one day. I'm like, how many hours do you guys have? Because I don't have hours. I'm like, I want those hours too. Like, you have, but yeah. Sometimes
That's exactly.
sacrifice sleep. That is one thing. Something that we sacrifice, but I'd rather not be my family. I'd rather not be, time that we can spend together. I'd rather sacrifice sleep sometimes, but you do need your sleep. You do need to get rest. So I believe in doing that when I can, as much as I can.
You have a 7-week-old too, so the sleep part of it is limited in that factor too.
And my 7-week-old makes it no better. She's like, nope, wake up now. Like, wake up. I'm not tired, but hey, I'm here. So get with the program, woman. But yeah, so lately I haven't been riding, but now that I will start back riding, more regularly, I'm going to have to work out my schedule where I can still ride and still enjoy that part. And still, have time for the family so we can get together and do things. But I think if you make an hour at least a day for yourself, I mean, I don't feel bad about that. If I just need to go out for a ride just for an hour, just so I can relax or whatever, then I'm just gonna go. Yeah.
I think for me that helps, so it clears my mind and it also gets my mind going creatively too. So for my end of it, there's so many ideas and things that pop up in my head that I didn't have the ability to just narrow focus and only think about those certain things too. Has that happened from your end of it? Like certain things come when writing? I'm curious to know on the process side of creating the apparel line for you and writing.
But definitely when I do wear the gear out, I see okay, this needs to have more airflow here, or something like that. And it helps with the construction of things. But also feedback too. I get a lot of feedback from the jackets when we're out. I mean, I have people sometimes yell at me like, "I love your jacket." I'm like, "Okay, thank you."
You need a little business card holder in the one of them to be like, "Here you go, here you
go." But so that it does help, and it does feel like we're doing something that is positive and that is some people probably want to see. So it helps us motivate us to keep doing what we're doing. But yeah, so I've had women come up to me like, "I love this jacket. Where did you get it?" I'm like, "Well, here's the story for you."
Do you have 10 minutes, 15 minutes? Because this is gonna.
You got motorcycles. Okay, you need to start riding motorcycles so you can wear this jacket.
Yeah.
But I tell women, MSF course, it has been a I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for here? A icebreaker, I guess, in some sense, to women that have seen me, like, that don't ride. And it's like, oh, I always wanted to ride on a motorcycle. I'm pretty sure you get this all the time. Being on a motorcycle, you see other women, they see you, they talk to you about your experience and how is it, and like, I don't know if I should do it or not. Is it very dangerous? And and all that good stuff. People love asking that question. Is it dangerous? Aren't you afraid? But
and then you roll into the stories of something happened to somebody, and
like, how many times I just like a little book to get out every time I say that, I just mark a little check and just see how many I get.
I don't know if I want
that. That's not, but then I get some positive, and some women are like, I always wanted to ride, but I never did. I was afraid to. And like, well, there's a course you can take. It's called MSF course, and you can take that course and you can learn. Right? They use their bikes, and and so I'm like, oh, really? I didn't know about that. And so, yeah, but yeah, it's definitely a really great experience. I think we're meeting so many different people like yourself, that are in this world of motorcycling, and that it's like bridging us all together, whether it's through the gear, whether it's the motorcycle that you ride, whether like, you're a venture rider or, long distance rider. I think it's so many different things we can just like connect over as being moms and motorcycling, so it's such a great community. I feel like people don't know about this, and I didn't know about it until like, 2 years ago. So I'm like, I'm so happy that we are able to share our story and just, talk to other women and people just in general, about what we're doing. And it's definitely been a great and rewarding experience, just creating and seeing women that ride, and motivates me, because when I first started riding, seeing women that were riding already, it was like, okay, they're doing it, I can do this too, like I can do this. It's not like it's something that I can't learn, I can't master. It's a skill that you can learn this skill and you can continue to get better at it. So I think that's one thing that really motivated me, seeing other women on YouTube, just seeing women on Instagram and stuff like, it's really motivating. And I feel like if we keep this up, we're going to increase this number. We just have to tell the women about it. Like, you can do it. Just get out there and do it.
It'll be fun to look back at like even just this video, and we'll talk like 10 years down the road and be like, where are we now? And look at the kids and where are they right now? Like, this is where I see like just so much momentum being built from it. And you're 100% correct when it comes to that. And so this is where the more we can relate and the more we can kind of bring it back down to, the meat and bones of us as women, but also as mothers, and how are you able to juggle all of this while still being able to pursue your passions? Like, you absolutely incredible that you're going in so many different directions, just as a rider, as an entrepreneur, and is like for female focused, pushing those boundaries even further. Like, it's going to be amazing for us to see for years and years.
Exactly. And the more that we like come into this community, women, the more we create for ourselves. I feel like when you're not in it, you don't know what's missing from it, and so you doing this, this channel and doing everything that you're doing, it's like we don't know, we don't see ourselves, right? So the more of us coming to this field, the more of us, or I guess say not field, but lifestyle, I guess you can say, we are creating something that hasn't been here before. So if we're doing it and more of us continue to, do it, it's going to create so many different things that we never had before. And I feel that Chic Riot, we're not an afterthought. Like, we are first, most of all the now, they're focused on men, and then here's things for some women, they can wear this, and it's never like we are the first thing. No. Yeah, exactly. So we definitely feel like we are the priority, and we should be the priority.
Yes. I love this. Oh my gosh. Okay. So for your end of it, I don't want to keep you too much longer, because I realize we're already talking over the limits, but just red flag. She does wake up. Yeah, we're good. But for you, kind of share what's, if you can, I don't know, like what's in the mix? What's happening in the rest of the year that you're excited for? Can you share a little bit more from that end of it?
Yeah. We are thinking about fall already. We're already thinking about, you know, we have to be already thinking about what we're going to do for that. So that's what I'm really excited for. Um, but definitely getting more riding in as me personally. I would definitely want to ride more, get back out there, meet other people, meet other riders. I'm hoping that we can take, or at least I can. I really want to take a motorcycle safety course. Um, first aid, not safety, but first aid, motorcyclist. So I had that in the works last year, but then, we know what last year brought. So it kind of shut everything down.
A
But I'm
beautiful baby girl.
right. And so hoping this year that they do have those courses offered. I definitely want to take one of those because I feel that, as a rider, if you can help somebody on the side of the road at any point, you definitely want to be able to do it if you can. So hoping to take that first aid course. Yeah, as far as like that goes, as far as motorcycling goes. There are a few things we're hoping to do as far as like being a vendor.
Okay.
But we haven't specified anything yet, so we'll see for that. But yeah, we really just want to get our name out there. People know who we are, and just as much as we can talk to other riders and meet and greet with them, and just people can feel that we're established, know what we're doing. We know we're small, and people may feel like, oh, I don't know, because But I get that a lot too. Some people ask, "Are these armor, or are they? Do they have Kevlar in them?" And I understand why. Maybe because we're new, but also because they look very fashionable. You're like,
Yeah,
is
that
that
same, I can guess it. Like, is
yeah.
this real?
Right, right. I'm like, but for myself, I feel that wearing this gear is like I'm putting myself in the gear as well. Like this is me in here. I want to be safe. So I'm not going to put you in something that I don't feel that's not safe. So
Mhm.
that's like um, a big factor for us for sure.
Oh, absolutely. You
Yeah.
almost feel like I don't want to say the parent of it all, but like you are the one that's protecting any of those riders too, and you kind of have that mindset. I didn't think about that, but like it makes sense from that end of it being the apparel designer. So yeah, it's awesome. Well, whenever I get, and this is where I know I'm going to head to Georgia, and I'll be in your area at some point. We need to catch up and ride together because that would be awesome.
That would be
Needs
so
to
great. If your
It
husband want to
needs
be
to happen. What's that?
your husband be with you?
Oh, I hope so. It's always a struggle, and I'm sure like for you and him too, like it's either one of us goes, one of us stays behind with the kiddos, or you have to pretty much plan that out. So from my end of it, so he's been gone on Army orders for the last 12 months. And so from my end of it, it's pretty much been me and the kids and babysitter to be able to be going out and riding. So he knows
Yeah.
that I've got so many things that I want to do, but a lot of those include him with it. So we got to make it work. We have to figure out a way to do it. So do you guys have that same kind of struggle? Like, do you balance it? Like, okay, you go to work today and you ride, and like that's kind of how we juggle.
Yeah.
And once he gets home, I'm like, it's out of it.
Yeah, that is true. I think yours is definitely a lot different. Having to deal with that. But now we have a new baby, so we definitely have to wait a while together again. Just the two of us. So I'll be looking forward to that. Maybe late this year, possibly if we do.
We can make that work because then the two of us can come down, and then you'll for sure, hopefully, we'll just send me a message and we'll make it work.
Yeah, yeah,
But yes,
for,
we need
for
to
sure.
connect. And for anybody else here that's in the live stream and watching this or even after the fact too, I've got links to all of your social media accounts. You need to go check out their line. It's fantastic. And I think I saw a doodle this earlier this year on it. I was like, okay, you've piqued my interest. And then like there's two things in my car right now. But no, go check this woman out. She's incredible. And just the two of you together are a powerhouse when it comes to pushing the limits as far as fashion and safety wise for motorcycling. So I'm just excited to be able to showcase that, and anybody here, please do the same for that. But thank you so much for being on here, my dear. We could sit and talk for hours upon end too, but I want to say good night. Good night to everybody here. Thank you for being on, and Tabitha, thank you again, my dear.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.